Hey everybody, it's Brian Haskins here, and in this video I want to kind of piggyback on what I talked about yesterday. When it comes to finding buyers for your wholesaling business, the buyers you choose to work with in many cases will dictate the results that you get in the business, and it almost creates a snowball effect because if you choose to work with the wrong buyers for your deals, what happens is many of those buyers are going to beat you up so bad on price that you're going to have to lowball sellers so much to try to get deals for those buyers that you're almost going to price yourself out of the business. And I'm going to share with you some real world examples of what this actually looks like for you and how you can actually compare the two when it comes to different buyers. Now, in yesterday's video, I walked you through the process of actually finding buyers in your market, so how to actually build your buyers list, number one. Number two, I showed you exactly how to find and identify the buyers in your market that are paying the most. But I wanted to stress the importance and the actual difference so you can see of how important it is to work with better buyers. So the first buyer over here on the left-hand side is our buyer number one. All right, so this is what most wholesalers think they're going to sell to. Okay, most wholesalers think that their only option are going to be people that are going to buy their property, rehab it extensively, and then resell it on the retail market. All right, so the issue with this type of a buyer is that they need to make all their money up front. Now, you as a wholesaler, you're also trying to make your profit up front on your deal. So what happens is you're kind of butting heads because both people have the same goal. And what happens is they're going to make you offers really low. So then you're going to have to make really low offers to sellers. You're going to get less offers accepted, which means that you're going to spend more money to market and actually get deals. So it's going to essentially kind of just expand how much time you have to work, how much money you have to spend on marketing, and then you're still going to wind up with less profit per deal. All right, whereas option two, this buyer is going to be a better buyer. And again, this is kind of an exaggerated result. It's not to necessarily say that the buyers that are going to offer you the least amount for your deal are going to be rehabbers, and the buyers that are going to offer you the most for your deals are going to be landlords. But we don't really care who they are or what they do. We care what they're actually willing to pay. So let me share with you some examples here. So buyer number one, they're a high-end rehabber, okay? So they're going to make their offer at 65% of the after-repaired value, okay? So let's just say that, the property fixed up would sell for $250,000, all right? So that's what we're using as our example in both of these different scenarios. So they're going to come in and they're going to calculate the repairs on the high side because they're going to put in higher end finishes so they can get the most return for their investment. Okay, so for them to sell it at $250,000 and they want it to sell quickly, they're going to put higher end finishes in there. Okay, so if that's the case, they're going to put higher end finishes in there. They're going to make you an offer at 65% of the ARV minus repairs. So if we know that the house will sell for $250,000 fixed up, their offer right off the bat would be $162,000 for that particular property if it didn't need any repairs. Okay, now obviously that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but let's just say they come in and say this house for us to be able to buy needs a new kitchen and it needs 2 new bathrooms. So let's just say that they're going to put $60,000 of finishes to sell that house for $250,000. All right. So if this is what their buy box is, 65% of the after repaired value minus repairs, their offer would be $102,000. And then for you to secure your profit, let's just say that you make an offer at $98,000, so you can secure a profit of $4,500. So you're only making $4,500 on this deal minus whatever you spent on marketing. So let's just say this is the buyer there. Now, if we look at buyer number two, let's just say that this is a person that's going to keep this property as a rental property. All right. So they're going to make the majority of their profit through cash flow and appreciation. So that means they don't necessarily need to make all their money up front on a deal. So they're willing to pay a little bit closer to what that home would sell for because they're going to make profit continually. Okay, so let's just say that they make an offer at 85% of the ARV, so that $250,000 price point still, and they're going to make the repairs. Let's say they have their own crew, they have their own maintenance department that's going to make those repairs. So that's number one, is that they're not necessarily going to fix this property up to get it high-end retail because they just need to get it rent ready. So already in their mindset, they're thinking that we don't have to put as much money into this property because, number one, we only need to get it rent ready. Number two, I don't have to hire these crews to do this. I can either do the work myself or I've got some crews that work for me just to get it rent ready. So instead of $60,000 in repairs, they only need to make $15,000 in repairs. Okay. So the next thing we look at is 85% of the ARV. So they're willing to pay 20% more for the property because they are still getting a 15% off, okay, minus repairs, and they're going to make money over time. So their offer on the exact same house, the exact same condition, would be $212,500 minus $15,000 in repairs would be $197,000. So instead of the $102,000 that this buyer is going to offer you, they're willing to offer you $197,500. And let's just say that that's going to be the case, and because they need less repairs because they're only getting the house rent ready, and they're willing to pay you more. So let's just say instead of you securing a $4,500 profit, you want to make $15,000 in this deal. So you are basically making an offer at $182,500 versus the $98,000 that you would have to offer with this particular buyer. So let's think about this, okay? So if you have a seller that's asking more for their property, you're not going to be able to negotiate your way down to $98,000 if they're looking for $180,000 or $182,000. Plus, you're only able to secure a $4,500 profit, whereas with this particular buyer, you're able to secure a $15,000 higher, so your $15,000 profit on your deal. So your assignment contract is going to go up 3 times based on this particular buyer, and your offer is $182,000 compared to $98,000. Do you think that that seller is going to accept a higher offer and you're still going to make 3 times as much on your deal? It's a no-brainer. This is the power of buyers. This is why we do this strategy, is because when we identify buyers up front that are willing to pay more, we have a much better chance of getting our offers accepted because we can make a higher offer. So how many offers do you think you're going to have to make at this low of an offer to be able to get a deal accepted? A lot, okay? Or if you can make a stronger offer, this is still a pretty significant discount, and you're making 3 times as much on your deal. So you can make a higher offer and still make 3 times as much. You're going to be able to get more offers accepted, which when you're getting more offers accepted, that means that you're working less. So you're not working nearly as much. You're not spending nearly as much on marketing. So let's just say this $4,500 profit. Can you imagine how little you're actually going to make because you're having to make 4 or 5, 10 times as many offers at this lower price to be able to get this? So you may be working for less than minimum wage, and you may be spending $3,000 to get that. So you're only making a $1,500 profit. So when this is the case, you're making $15,000. You're getting more offers accepted, so you're spending less on marketing. So the power of the buyer is key. Now, again, this may be an exaggerated example, but this could be a very realistic example. So this is why we want to work with better buyers. And again, it has nothing to do with the landlord. It has nothing to do with the rehabber. It has to do with who the actual buyer is. There's a ton of in strategies that buyers are using and creative ways that buyers are willing to pay more for deals in your market. So if we find buyers using what I shared with you yesterday in that video, you're going to be able to secure a significant amount more profit on your deal, get more offers accepted, which means that you're going to make a bigger profit on your deals, spend less on marketing, and this is the power of why finding buyers and finding the right buyers is key. So don't just take any buyer's word for it that you're going to work with them. Find real buyers that you want to work with because it's going to allow you to get more offers accepted, secure bigger profits, and spend less on marketing. So that means you get to keep more money. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to find out more about this or want to work with me, please reach out. I'd love to be able to see how I can help you in your market, show you how to find these real world buyers so that way you can get more offers accepted. Because again, marketing most likely isn't going to be the issue for you. It's that you're not able to do enough marketing to generate deals because you're working with the wrong buyers. So this is why it's key to make sure that you're able to get more offers accepted, spend less money on marketing, and get more deals done. So marketing most likely isn't the problem. So hopefully this video opened up your eyes to why the power of actually working with these buyers is so crucial.